Live from Charlotte Motor Speedway, 30-plus drivers take to the track as they have one goal in mind: to win the Three-Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series Championship. Round one, race one, starts here at Charlotte. Guys veterans, some guys rookies. Alongside me is Richard Lafferty down in the pits, Kyle Hanshaw, and manning the mic, manning the controls is Carlos Acosta. And Richard, 30-plus drivers. I don't think Corey had that in mind when he started this thing, but we got it here tonight, and let's see what we can do with it.
Yeah, just pays tribute to, I think, what a great league Corey runs, and hopefully we'll have some good racing tonight. I imagine we will.
I think we will, based on the Thursday practice that we saw with Luis Samosa taking the checkered flag. That race didn't count for points. This race does count for points. And the thing that I'm keeping an eye on is there's only 6 races in this season. So if you have a bad race tonight, if you have a bad race a couple weeks from now, I don't think you can afford to have any bad races. And in my opinion, though, the winner of this championship is going to get 6 top 5s.
Yeah, I mean, the way this league's been going lately, it might have to be 6 wins. Obviously, consistency's going to be a huge deal. One bad race could take you out of it for sure.
And what I'm trying to grasp around too is there's a mixed crowd in here. We got about half the guys that have a lot of experience in this series, and then the other half is rookies. And if you notice, there's little asterisks by the names of each guy. And those are the rookies. The guys that don't have asterisks, they've been around for a while. They know what three-wide racing is all about. But these rookies are out to prove something. They're out to prove to people that they can race in three-wide racing, and there's owners watching. There's actually owners racing in the DD series. So, well, what do you think these rookies have to show for all these guys?
Well, as we saw on Thursday night, some of these rookies are definitely out to prove something. We had Todd Smith; he had a really good run. Thomas Morris had a good run. I think, the key with league racing is just being consistent, trying to stay out of trouble every week. It's not just one race you jump on and do. It's a whole season worth of trying to put together good results.
Looking through the practice, looking through the leaderboard, I see some rookies up there. Todd Smith still fast. I think we're going to see a lot of Todd Smith actually for this DD series. Thomas Morris is 6th. Thomas Morris is actually a broadcaster. Broadcasted our league races last year for three-wide racing at OCR TV. Chad Frankenfield, RK Motorsports driver, in 8th place, and Dennis Bloch, don't really know how to pronounce that, in 9th, and Trey Landry 10th, as those rookie guys hopefully can survive this race. I think 84 laps, if I'm not mistaken, to battle it out here tonight.
Yeah, it's just we'll see how a lot of these guys do. I mean, we have some real talented guys in this league, and obviously we're introducing a bunch of really talented new guys. So hopefully they can just put on a good race tonight.
The thing that we're going to be doing also is having an in-race broadcaster. I know we talked about this on Thursday, but the in-race broadcaster is going to be Kyle Hanshaw. He's going to provide you guys a little bit of insight into what's going on the racetrack. We're going to interview Kyle before the race, after the race, during green flag runs, and also during the caution break, the yellow flag run. So we'll bring on Kyle right now and see how the track is. I know on Thursday it was loose and it was hot, and I'm guessing it's loose and hot again, especially coming out of 2. We saw a lot of accidents coming out of 2, Richard.
Yeah, the track definitely seemed a little dicey on Thursday. You had to keep the car underneath you, so hopefully these guys can keep working to, sometimes you just got to drive the track. And it seems like this can be one of those events.
Now we brought in Kyle. He's down on the racetrack right now. Kyle, we noticed the track was hot and slick on Thursday. Is it the same right now?
Yeah, I think we're going to have pretty much the same track conditions as we did for the practice race. So it should be pretty fun to drive and make for some good racing.
You excited to be the in-race broadcaster?
Oh yeah, you know it, brother.
All right, Kyle, we'll talk to you right before the race is about to start. About 10 minutes to go before qualifying, so good luck, man.
Sounds good, guys. Have fun.
One thing we also want to do is bring the man upstairs, the man who does all of this for three wide racing. That's Corey Lindsay. He's the Mike Helton of three wide racing. We're going to bring him on. He's going to give you guys a little insight on what this DD series is all about. I can't say enough about Corey, Richard. Just with this league, this series alone, the DD series, January and February are typically our dead months. We don't talk about three-wide racing. It starts up in March, or it ends in November, starts back up in March, and between then we don't get a lot of interaction. I think this is great to have this DD series.
Yeah, it just further proves what a ridiculous contribution Corey makes to making this league be so great.
And hopefully Corey wasn't too busy. Corey, can you hear us?
Howdy. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Just talking about virtual race cars going around circles. But we wanted to we wanted to bring you up for you to talk a little bit about the DD series and what it's all about.
Well, it's essentially for some of the guys that want to try to get better in the league. That's what it was put out to be. You know, in the early starts of it, we were thinking maybe 12 to maybe 15, 17 guys. We didn't expect to get this many. How many are in the server right now? About 30 or so?
I think about like 31, 30.
That's exciting and also a little bit scary. But yeah, just we want to try to get everybody as competitive as they can be, and to have some of these other guys, the big dogs, so to speak, sit out and have the other guys get a few more opportunities. I think it could really pay off in the long run heading into the Truck and Cup Series seasons.
That's what I was going to say. I think I just counted 14 or 15 guys that are brand new to three-wide racing. Are you hoping to get most of them into the Truck Series and Cup Series, or was your goal to just get a couple more guys to bring on to three-wide?
Well, the goal is to get about 4 or 5 more guys, but if these guys are certainly willing to come on and run a full season with us, I mean, absolutely, we'll take them. Obviously, we're looking for guys that are level-headed and, you know, fairly easygoing sim racers. We don't want anybody that might be hot-headed or going to give us some more issues than we need. So anybody that's willing to come race and have fun, absolutely, we'll take them on.
Awesome, Corey. Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks for giving us a little bit of insight into the DD series and everybody at home watching. I'm sure we'll catch up with you, and if anybody has questions, report to this man about three-wide racing. He's the man involved in all of this. So thanks, Corey.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, no problem. I'm trying to move Corey. There he goes. He moved it. So Richard, about 5 minutes until the race, until qualifying actually, I want to make picks for this race and also for the championship. Are you ready to make some picks for the winner of this race?
Absolutely. I love being wrong.
Most likely we're wrong. Although I did pick Luis to win Thursday's race, and it seemed to work out. Tonight, based on speed charts, how about Richard Hines up in first place? He's a veteran of three-wide racing. He's been around for a long time. Got over 80 starts, I think, in three-wide racing, but hasn't won. So maybe tonight will be the race that he wins. But I don't think I'm going to pick Hines. I think I'm going to pick Luis Samosa again in the 4-car. I think he's going to be my pick to win.
That's like fishing with hand grenades, Big Luis. I'm thinking I'll take Todd Smith. He had a good run the other night. I think he drove the car a little too hard on his last run and just couldn't get with Luis, but he ran hard with him for a long time the other night, so hopefully that little bit of experience will pay off for him.
I think Todd, I would hope that he learned something in Thursday's practice. He seemed like he burned his tires up there at the beginning of the run and lost some ground. Hopefully he doesn't do that this week on Sunday. Forgetting my days here. But I think Todd's going to be a strong pick there. Also, I see that there's guys that are in this series that haven't been racing for a long time, and that's Tate Lytle. He was one of the original guys that raced in three-wide racing. Also, Levi Zielinski. He has tons of starts in three-wide. And I think if he might be here, yes, Skylar Nissel is back. Back from the dead. I haven't heard Skylar's name. And how long has it been, Richard? 2-3 years?
Yeah, Skylar's been gone for a while, but those are 3 guys that all ran pretty well when they were here before. And, you know, Levi ran some races last year, was pretty competitive. So, yeah, I think that you can see some things out of all 3 of those guys.
Those 3 guys were around when 3 Wide had 13, 14 guys racing each race, and it was a pretty small league, and now it's just evolved to where we get 30 guys in a series, 30 guys in the Cups, 30 in the Truck Series. We're racing the Truck Series this year, not the B cars, and then we got 30 guys here in the DD Series.
Yeah, and it's definitely not just a quantity thing. The quality of the racing is getting up there for sure. It's hard racing, it's good racing. I think towards the end of the season, the B League, we ran a majority of our races caution-free, and I know Cup racing got a lot better. So everybody's kind of adapting to this new type of racing and having to be competitive every week.
And I see through the speed charts, 1st through 10th right now. Well, I'll rattle them off. Richard Hines 1st, Todd Smith 2nd, Luis Salmosa 3rd, Mike Stevens 4th. Strong for Mike Stevens to be 4th right now. I know this series has got to be a confidence booster for him. He just didn't have a great year last year, and if he can get a couple top 5s, maybe top 5s in the points for this series, he might have some confidence going into the Truck Series and Cup Series. Tate Lytle 5th, Thomas Moore 6th, Rusty Webb 7th. Rusty was 2nd in the DD Series practice race Thursday. Chad Frankenfield 8th, Dennis Blasch 9th, and Trey Landry round out the top 10 in practice with about 2 minutes left in this session, and we'll go to qualifying for 2 laps, single cars.
Yeah, and going back to Mike Stevens, I mean, he's a guy that's shown speed. He's had a hard time putting together, consistent race over the course of the hour and a half that these races last. So hopefully as he gets more experience, he can work that out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see some of these guys, especially the veterans, trying to have good runs, trying to build their confidence up. There's a lot of guys that struggled last year, Mike being one of them, Rusty Webb being one of them. He struggled early in the year, but had a really good year at the end. Another guy that entered this series was Brent Miller. He struggled, and Nick Miller struggled as well. So those are all veterans. We want them to have good runs and get good finishes, and I think we'll see them up front here in the DD series.
Yeah, definitely Nick. All those guys you mentioned just struggled a little bit to put together whole races this last year. I mean, Nick's had a lot of success through his career and through Wide. So I'd expect those guys to be able to compete as the season goes on and into the real season for us.
Yeah, speaking of Nick Miller, I think we got him up here in the booth practicing. Nick, do you got a copy? Nick Miller, do you have a copy?
I guess Nick's busy working on that consistency right now.
Yep, Nick's still running laps, so he might not be with us here. We'll try to grab one of the other veterans at 3 Wide. We'll try to grab Brent Miller if we can. Surprisingly, Nick and Brent are not related. If you've been a part of 3 Wide, you'll know that they're not related. But Brent and Nick have both been around for a long time. Let's see if we can get Brent here. Brent, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Hey, man. We're just talking about you and a lot of the veterans in this league entering the DD series. What are you trying to get out of this DD series?
Well, I mean, just trying to get your legs under you. You know, we had some changes that we did this year. So, you know, with Nick and Corey leaving and Nathan. So I'm going to team up a little bit with them and kind of start over, I guess. Hopefully we'll run a little bit better than we did last year, but right now I'm having some computer issues, so I don't think I'll be able to race tonight, but hopefully next week. So just trying to get more experience, obviously, and more track time is the big thing. I don't practice, a tons. So the more practice I can get, in races with all these guys, it's going to help a lot.
All right, Brent. Well, sorry about your computer issues, and we'll let you go. But if you aren't racing tonight, maybe we'll bring you back up to the booth and you can call some of this race with us.
Yeah, sure, man. That'd be cool. I'm just trying to get my iRacing on my laptop now, so I'll let you know. Thanks.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks.
That's Brent Miller. His qualifying is started. You see Jordan Teal on the track. One of the Isentech's, actually Isentech's only car in the DD series. Isentech, one of the strongest cars, strongest teams in three-wide racing last year, having won 3 out of the 4 championships.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to keep up with those guys last year. They pretty much dominated every series that we had. So they're definitely the gold standard that everybody's shooting for this season.
There's so many stories out there, and I think Jordan Teal's one of them. He raced pretty much the whole season last year, raced a lot of B-car races, cup races, and he struggled a little bit, but I think coming on to Isentech, he's going to have some good runs. It seems like everybody that comes over there has good runs.
Yeah, I don't know what they're feeding the guys over there, but it's working.
Eating their Wheaties.
Trying to get on the box of Wheaties.
All right, right now in qualifying, it's Todd Smith first, Thomas Morris second. And how about Skylar Nissel? Up to third. 13 guys have gone, and Skylar's third. That's got to be huge for him.
Yeah, that's a good run for him. Like I said, he was competitive before. Todd Smith came out of nowhere there right at the end of practice on us, too, and ripped off the best lap in practice, just edging out Richard Hines. So, looking all right for my pick so far.
Yeah, and Luis Samosa, my pick, 0.2 of a second off of Todd Smith. He laid down a burner of a lap, Todd did. Thomas Morris second, so we got 2 rookies in the top 2 so far, but qualifying is still going on with about 10 guys left to go. As you see Dennis Blosh. I'm going to screw that thing up the whole entire season. But there's Dennis on the track. He's got a cool paint scheme, that UFC car. That's another thing I kind of want to see is all the paint schemes. A lot of new sponsors in 3-wide.
Yeah, a lot of new teams in 3-wide too. A lot of these guys will move teams over the season. So a lot of storylines going into this next year.
Yeah, speaking of new teams, we forgot to mention probably the biggest news in the offseason was 3OG releasing Nick Miller, Corey Lindsey. They both went over and formed their own team, Team Blurry. And Team Blurry is actually on the track. Nick Miller is racing for Team Blurry in the 99 car. Also, Nathan Young is racing for Team Blurry as well in the DD series.
Yeah, Nathan disappeared for a little bit last year. I know he travels a lot for work, so it's good to see him back. He's a good dude that does a lot of paint schemes for a lot of the guys in the league, free of charge, and does pretty much anything he asks him to do, sponsors his team speak. So we appreciate everything Nathan does, and that's just a group of good guys that got accumulated over there.
Yeah, Team Blurry would be fun to watch. Team Blurry was actually just a dirt team last year, so they made a huge jump from dirt to trucks and cup. They're going big time.
Yeah, they're going to come out here and race the big cars.
Going to asphalt. You see Kyle Hanshaw, in-race broadcaster, on the track. We'll bring up Kyle right now. I think he finished his lap. Kyle, copy. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
How's that lap there? You seemed a little bit better in qualifying today than you were Thursday. Got, I think, P12 right now on the board.
Yeah, I learned some stuff during that practice session on Thursday. Drove it a little better, a little easier than I did this past qualifying session. But yeah, pretty happy with the result. Not too bad.
Is as the practices have went on, has the track changed at all, or is it still super loose coming out of two?
Yeah, the sun seems to be shining over there in 3 and 4, and I think it's a little slicker down there than in 1 and 2. But yeah, coming out of two, it's definitely slick off. So gonna have to pedal it through that turn.
That'll be interesting. I know we had a lot of issues on Thursday with cars getting loose out of two. We even had a couple incidences where cars smacked the wall coming out of four. Kyle, what are you looking forward to most in this season? We've just been talking about you being the in-race broadcaster, but you got 6 races here to get a little bit more practice for the asphalt side of things. What's your goals for these 6 races?
Obviously, I want to compete for uh, basically the championship or whatever in this series, and just trying to learn as much as I can for the trucks and for the Cup Series coming up this year, and just getting more seat time basically.
Sounds good. Well, we'll keep Kyle in the booth for now as we're gonna bring up the pole sitter. I think Todd Smith is your pole winner here tonight at Charlotte. So we'll bring up Todd. As you can see, the leaderboard: Todd Smith first, Thomas Morris, Trey Landry, Levi Zielinski with a good run, P4, Luis Salmasa fifth, Skylar Nissel sixth, Jordan Teal seventh, Christopher Munger eighth, David Wilson ninth. And if you want to see David Wilson, he actually has a stream, Twitch stream, where you can ride on board with him and Rusty Webb rounding out the top 10. We'll bring on Todd Smith and see what he has to say about his pole run. Todd, got a copy.
Hey, 10-4.
Hey Todd, we talked to you a lot on Thursday, and looks like we'll be talking to you a lot here tonight. You're the pole winner. I think you went 2 for 2. You got the pole last Thursday too, right?
Yeah, I got lucky. Felt a lot better about it this week. So
Yeah, almost a tenth faster than the rest of the field. I know your goal's got to be winning this race. Last Thursday we noticed it seemed like you kind of burnt your tires up on the early part of the run. Is that the case?
actually, last week toward the end, about 8 to go, I had hit the go button on. I was gonna run him down on the high line, but the caution came out, and then my wheel locked up, like it came unplugged or whatever. So I had to actually leave the race there. But I I usually don't say it like that, but I was gonna win that race. Like I said, I'd have done hammered down or whatever you want to call it. I was getting that high line worked in, and I gained a little bit here and there, but I was confident that about 2 to go, I think I was going to get around him. But it was going to be fun either way. So the track's a little different this week, but I still feel pretty good about it. This is my second favorite track, so I'm just hoping maybe a top 5.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch you try to grab the victory. I know I didn't pick you to win, unfortunately, but somebody else in this broadcast picked you to win. Who was that?
Yeah, that was me. Richard up here in the booth with you, Todd. Fastest in practice. You said the track's different this Sunday than it was on Thursday. How's it different?
Yeah, I want to say there's a little bit less grip. I was having to get a little bit of new points to lift and let it roll a little different. May just be me, but feels like maybe there's not just quite as much grip. I didn't look at the temperature. I don't know if maybe it's hotter or something, but I had to adjust just a little bit.
Yeah, it does still seem like everybody's struggling with grip for sure, like they were on Thursday, but it does seem like the lap times have come down a little bit. So hopefully you can keep that thing clean and keep it up front, and we'll talk to you in about an hour.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Almost approaching the time to start the race, as it's 10:10 right now. As we're going to take you trackside for today's national anthem by Demi Lovato.
So proudly we hailed the twilight's last gleam, whose
All right, we're back here, folks. 84 laps at Charlotte Speedway. The drivers are getting ready to grid, and this we've been here before, Richard. First race of the year. You got to have a little bit of nerves. I know I have a little bit of nerves every time I get on the track in three wide racing. What do you think what's going through these guys' minds right now?
I think everybody is just thinking don't screw up for sure. I mean, our front three guys, all guys new to the league. So you don't want to come in here in your first race to the league, do something dumb in the first 2 or 3 laps and wreck 5 or 6 guys. That won't make you real popular with the field as we go through this season and into the regular season.
Yeah, it's interesting. We got 3 rookies in the top 3. Thomas Morris, Trey Landry, I mentioned earlier, they are broadcasters themselves. They broadcasted all our races last year as me and you raced, and now we kind of roles were reversed now, and we're the broadcasters. So it'd be interesting to see what they do in this series. But then we got Levi Zielinski and Luis Samasa in 4th and 5th. I think for about half the race, I think everybody's goal is to just kind of stay calm, don't get wrecked out. And with this many drivers, you've got to think there's going to be some kind of trouble.
Yeah, especially as Todd said, the track doesn't have a lot of grip. As the runs go on, we saw the other night, the car starts getting real squirrely off of both sets of corners. So, just race the track. That's what you hope everybody does for the first part of the race. And can't win if you're not around for the second half of it.
Yeah, we hope it goes green flag from start to finish, but the odds of that happening are about slim to none.
Yeah, it seems like this setup track combination is going to create a little bit of drama one way or another. Whether people just lose focus for 1 second, it seems like, and it could be an issue.
We talked about what's going through these drivers' minds right now. Well, fortunately, we got a guy that can tell us about that. And that's Kyle Hanshaw. Kyle, just a minute before the race starts, what's going through your mind right now, man?
You guys pretty much covered it. Just don't screw up. Try to keep the car under you as best as you can, and just try to make it till the end. That's basically what I'm shooting for tonight.
We'll try to make it more exciting for you up here too.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Kyle. We'll talk to you. We'll probably put you back on the air first caution. So once that happens, hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it happens, we'll come and talk to you again.
Yeah, with this many guys, it's probably going to happen shortly.
Yep. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
That was Kyle Hanshaw. He'll be talking. You'll hear a lot of Kyle these 6 races. He's basically a broadcaster with us. So don't get jealous if Hanshaw's up here all the time because he's part of the show. He's part of 3 Wide TV. Also, we're on YouTube. Please give us a like. We're brand new. This is our first ever race broadcasting. We're going to make mistakes, but we're just doing this for fun. We're doing this to help out Corey, help out 3 Wide Racing. This series didn't have a broadcasting partner, so we're here doing it, and it's going to be a fun time for these 6 races.
Yeah, and if any of the racers that are listening, we butcher your name or anything, just give us a heads up. We'll fix it. We're rookies to this like you're rookies to the league, and I think we're all just going to do the best job we can do.
And here's a starting lineup for the first race in 3 Wide TV's history, the first race in 3 Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series history. As a pole sitter, Todd Smith. Starting seconds, Thomas Morris. Third is Trey Landry. 4th place is Levi Zielinski. Rounding out the top 5, Luis Salmassa and Skylar Nissel making his debut. It's been 3 years since Skylar raced. Jordan Teal starting 7th and Christopher Munger starting 8th. David Wilson 9th and Rusty Webb rounds out the top 10. I'm going to hand it over to Richard for 11th through 20th.
And your 11th place starter, Mike Stevens, who we touched on earlier. And starting outside of him is our in-race reporter, Kyle Hanshaw, on 12th. 13th is James Duke, and starting 14th, the elusive named Dennis Block. 15th is Chad Frankenfield, starting 16th. Chad Brown and all Chad row there in row 8. 19th is JTR's Wade Lear, and starting 20th, Jared Dixon. I'm sorry, I apparently got ahead of myself there. Starting 19th, Michael Whitley, and starting 20th, Frank Sims IV.
Here we got 21st starting spot, Jason Personet. 22nd, Gary Weaver. 23rd, owner of Hardline Racing Leagues, Cody Tabor, and Patrick McCusker, starting 24th. And rounding out the field, starting 25th, is Chris Thomas Dukes. And that's your field of drivers here tonight. Race 1 of Three Wide Racing's Driver Developmental Series. We go from January 14th tonight all the way to March. I think March 4th is the last race of the DD Series. The last race of the DD Series is at Talladega. And that's what kicks off our speed weeks for the Truck and Cup Series. That's going to be a blast that weekend, but we still got about 5 more weeks until we crown a champion.
Yeah, it's a little season, but you still got to put it together for 6 weeks like we talked about. There's a couple guys starting here at the end of the field that didn't get gridded because they didn't get a lap and probably got loose in practice or whatever. But Tate Lytle, Paul Ross, or I'm sorry, not Paul Ross, Richard Hines, Nathan Young, Brendan LaRue, Nick Miller, all starting in the back part of the field without a qualifying lap.
Sorry about it, I missed those guys. That's my own team car. But as the pace car comes down, the inaugural Three Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series is underway as Todd Smith is the leader. And like we said before, these first couple of laps, the drivers just got to take it easy. They're probably on pins and needles right now, not wanting to cause a wreck. But Tom Smith pulls away there with a good start.
And you can see him already a little bit when the cars off the 2 there as they go single file in a little bit of 2x2 racing in the 3.
Already Todd Smith riding that high lane. We saw it work Thursday as the run went on, but he's up there early.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try that out and see how it looks compared to the guys behind him. Top 3 still throw a blanket over him.
And that's Levi Zielinski in 3rd, trying to get by Thomas Morris. And we haven't talked a whole lot about Levi, but I mean, when he raced in Three Wide Racing, the Cup Series, and in the B Series, he was always fast. So I expect nothing else from him but being fast, contending for the win.
Yeah, Levi definitely has showed speed in his time over his time in the series. I expect nothing else from him either, but to be competitive, be up here up front for most of his races.
As you see, you go on board with Levi as he tries to get around Thomas Morris. Thomas gets a little bit swirly coming out of 2. You're going to see that a lot today, folks. As Todd Smith still leader, Thomas Morris 2nd, Levi Zielinski 3rd. Levi's got a really nice paint scheme. He's been the owner of Rebel Racing for quite a while now. I think about 3 years.
Yeah, we talked about Levi. Went away for a little bit, take care of some personal stuff in his life. Now he's back to race with us and try to get some wins for Rebel Racing.
There's Skylar Nissel. Skylar, P6 right now. And behind Skylar's Christopher Munger, a rookie to Three Wide Racing. Haven't talked much about Christopher Munger, but he's running in 7th. I'm sure we're going to be talking about him quite a bit the rest of the year in that 55 car.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start to the race for him. Just feeling it out, seeing how this kind of racing works for him. I don't know if he's got a lot of league time or not, but he'll get it sorted out.
I can see the bottom of the order already. A couple cars a lap down. Brandon LaRue, Josh Personet, and Frank Sims is already 1 lap down. I don't really know what happened to them, or did they grid? I'm not too sure about that. But the interval is pretty close right now. Top 5 separated by just 2 seconds.
Yeah, we still have a good race for the top 3 spots up there. Everybody trying to hold on to the back of Todd Smith. And then fourth and fifth, kind of got a little space. Just out there riding, keeping the car underneath him.
Well, this was the time on Thursday that Todd Smith's car started going a little bit away from him, and right now it doesn't seem like that. Or Levi could just be putting the pressure on Thomas Morris to keep Todd Smith from getting that lead there.
Yeah, it definitely looks like those top three guys are all still driving the car pretty hard as they try to just keep up with that leader. You don't want to get that big gap. It's hard to make up for at the end of the run.
Well, Richard, if you would have bet me that there would have been a caution in the first couple laps, I probably wouldn't have took that bet. I was pretty confident that maybe we'd get one, but these guys have surprised me, and oh, there's a spin right when I'm talking about a caution. It's a 60 car. The 60 car, Jared Dixon, but we still don't have a caution as he spun to the inside of the track. Let's see, I'm guessing he probably just got loose.
Yeah, and as we saw on Thursday night, this latest model of cautions for 3 wide or for iRacing, if you get it off the track, you have no caution.
We don't have any replay for the 60 car. The camera didn't quite catch it. Jared Dixon was running in I think the top 20, around 18th, 19th spot. But like we said, cars are just getting really squirrely out of 2, and he probably just looped it around, and looks like he's got a little bit of rear end damage as well.
Yeah, he definitely banged it up a little bit, but he might be able to get it patched up.
The top 4 guys have really pulled away here. Luis Massa starting to catch Levi. And P4, Levi's 3rd, but 3 seconds back is 5th place Trey Landry. So the field is definitely spread out here.
Yeah, there's definitely you're definitely starting to see who looks like he's going to be competing for the win tonight. Luis is no surprise. He's starting to run down those top 3 guys. We expect him to be fast.
I forgot to mention earlier, a cool feature that we're doing at 3Watt TV is if you so happen to get in an accident, if you're listening, we have an infield care center. So jump in that infield care center if you do happen to get in an accident or if you have some type of mechanical issue. Jump in there and we'll give you an interview, and you can vent or say whatever you want to say in the infield care center, but we'll get you an interview. I think that'll be a cool feature, especially when somebody spins somebody out.
Yeah, I think that's the whole idea behind that, right? If we get a little, directly after the wreck, emotional controversies stirred up as we go into the year.
We gotta have drama. It's not 3-by racing if there isn't drama.
And that's why half the shows on TV are reality shows, right?
That's right. As you saw Levi trying to make the pass on Thomas Morris, he got loose off it too. And I don't know how many times you're going to say that tonight, but turn 2 is definitely the turn that you're going to have problems with. He's still working on Thomas Morris. He's been working at him since the start of this race, and we're on lap 13.
Yeah, and they're still within shouting distance of Todd Smith. Obviously, they're driving it hard. You're going to start seeing that tire wear coming into play here pretty soon. It's weird to see everybody all over the track in Charlotte.
And Levi just banged the wall. We just talked about him getting loose on turn 2, and he just banged the wall off of turn 2. That can't be good at a 1.5-mile track like Charlotte.
Yeah, he wrinkled it a little bit. He'll probably be all right if we get a caution. It's weird. You never really know how that damage is going to affect you from racetrack to racetrack.
Yeah, that looks like quite a bit of damage on that right front there, as you guys all can see at home. But we'll see how it affects him. Right now, he's staying pretty close to Thomas Morris.
Yeah, he still looks like he's carrying some speed. We'll see if he starts slipping back in the clutches of Lewis as that damage starts to affect him more and more.
Just about to complete lap 15. The top 10. Mike Stevens is in 10th, over 6 seconds behind. Definitely a spread out field. I think, like we mentioned, the guys are just trying to get their feet wet in this series and stay clean. But I'm sure if we get a caution, the excitement will definitely start to ramp up.
Yeah, and even we talked about all the rookies up
and we
there.
got a crash. Crash at Frankenfield. Frankenfield in the 15 car. Looks like the 15 car of Dennis Blouch. Hard into the wall. The 7 car most likely done. So with the 15 car. Let's see what happens here. Sorry, Richard, for interrupting you. Oh, the 7 car gets loose. Oh, the 15 car nowhere to go, and Wade Lear gets in it too. Man, what do you think? Did the 7 car just get loose and he tried to overcorrect it?
Yeah, it looks like the car just, like we talked about, got the rear end got her away from him a little bit off 2 there, and he chased it down the track. And obviously it's hot enough, it's hard to catch it even as you get on the straightaway there.
Man, and can we get a view on the 15 car? I want to see how much damage he has. And also the 03, I know he got some damage too. The 15 car looks beat up. Man, that's a tough break. Tough break for everybody involved. But it's turn 2, like we've all been talking about. The 03, Wade Lear. Looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage as well. But our first caution of the day comes out at lap 17 as everybody's on pit road getting fresh Goodyear tires.
Those all-important Goodyears are definitely going to play a huge factor today.
I don't think anybody went out of the race in that accident, so we don't have any interviews right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody did go out.
No, definitely some damage on some cars, but it doesn't really anybody get a real bad. Nobody smoking at least.
Todd Smith wins the race off pit road. Luis Salmassa gains 2 spots on pit road, and when he's not gaining on the track, he's still gaining into pits.
Yeah, I think Levi had to stay in there and get some of that damage patched up, so we'll see where he shakes out at.
Right now it's showing Cody Tabor in the lead and Christopher Munger in second. I'm sure those guys have not pit yet. They'll probably be coming down pit road here pretty soon. There you see Cody. That'll hand the lead over to Todd Smith again, as Todd Smith has led pretty much from start to green here on lap 18. He started on the pole. He's led 17 laps. I think Cody Tabor led that 1 lap there. And that's important bonus points, I think, leading laps. As you saw last year, I can just think of Corey Lindsey. He bonus pointed the heck out of last season, and it really helped him out when it came to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, as tight as the racing's been in this league, every point matters. And if you can pile up 15 or 20 of those during the year, that's a huge difference.
It'll be interesting to see. And another thing, I keep forgetting a whole bunch of things to mention. 3-Wide Racing is doing something cool this year with the DD Series. We're having a halfway bonus. Points issued out to the top 5 drivers. The winner, first place at the halfway bonus, gets 5 points, all the way down to 5th place getting 1 point. And those are going to be important when you start racking all those up. There's 30 points there issued for each winner in each race, basically, combined.
Yeah, that can make a huge difference as the season goes on. With only 6 races, you get 30 extra points. It's going to be tough to make for anybody else to make that up.
It'll be fun to watch to see how that plays out. Right now, I think on Thursday, it was the same crowd kind of up front. Levi Zielinski did not race in that practice session, but you had Todd Smith up front, Luis Salmassa, Thomas Morris, and Trey Landry all raced in Thursday's practice race. So I'm guessing that race had to help those guys out a little bit.
Yeah, and as we get ready to go back to green here, yeah, I would imagine you don't get a lot of experience driving this car at Charlotte, as loose as it is. We talked about them being in the high lane. It's kind of a weird thing for Charlotte, I feel like. It might be the latest build producing racing like that.
As you see him double filed up, Todd Smith, he likes that high lane, and he's going to take the high lane, the outside lane here for the restart. See how that works. That'll be the first time we get to see that. As we'll get the green at lap 20 out of 84. We still got a long way to go to the pace car. Strolls down pit road. We're off. Lap 20, 3-Wide Racing. Todd Smith did get a good start there on that outside lane, so that worked out for him.
Yeah, and it looks like that also helped out Levi, who gets outside of Lewis.
Let's see if the momentum carries off. Levi gets a little bit loose, but I think he's going to clear Luis. Yes, he does clear him into turn 3. That's Levi up to second. Highest he's been all day.
Yeah, it just showed what the advantage it is to start right in the leader when the leader has full control of the restarts like we have in this league.
This will be fun to watch the battle. We saw Levi really pressuring Thomas Morris a lot there, and now he's up to second. Let's see if he can get by or start to challenge Todd Smith. Nobody has put the pressure on him yet.
Yeah, and I don't know if he got all that damage fixed or not. He came out basically where he went in, but he looks like it's not hurting him too bad right now. It still looks a little crinkled.
Yeah, that right front looks crinkled. Did you think the arrow push here would really affect it with that damage? But it doesn't seem to be affecting it at all. Might be helping him out. Might make him a little bit tighter.
Yeah, it could. It definitely could help him out maybe a little bit in and through the middle. He's running a little bit different line than Todd is too, so we'll see how that plays out over the course of the run.
You're seeing the battle for the lead. Todd Smith, Levi Zielinski, coming to lap 23. Leaders are all separated. Top 4 separated by less than a second. And it's pretty much the same top 5 as when we started the race. David Wilson has worked up to 6th. I don't know where David started, but that's a pretty good run for him. P6, Rusty Webb is 7th. Rusty started 2nd, or he finished 2nd in the Thursday's practice race. There's a good battle right there, you can see, with Rusty Webb and David Wilson.
Yeah, and actually, just off 2 right there, Trey Landry got to the wall a little bit. David Wilson did a good job of staying off of him. Racing with a little respect early in the race here.
From racing with David and seeing David, I think he's a pretty clean driver. He finished about every race last year in the B Series and had a good finish in points because of it.
And David's definitely one of those drivers you put in the category of improved a lot as last season went on. I think this last year was his first year with 3 wide. So learning how to race over the course of a whole year, I think he really came along as the season went on.
It'll be fun to watch David in the DD Series. Hopefully he can pick up a win because he was pretty close there a couple times in the B cars. So maybe these 6 races will be beneficial to him trying to pick up a victory.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you get on track, definitely doesn't hurt.
And I think we're going to settle in here to a green flag run. I'd like to see some green flag pit stops. I know we had green flag pit stops in Thursday's practice race, but I think this is the time where you're going to see a long green flag run. You had the caution out of the way. Everybody's nerves are pretty much gone. They're back to racing. They're back to mid-season form, I guess, as you can say, because it's been a they've got the nerves out of the way. It's lap 26. They've been racing for quite a while. So I'm thinking we're going to see a green flag run here.
Yeah, as long as nobody lets the car get away from them off 2, I think we'll see a nice run here. Like you said, everybody's just in racing mode now. Now you're just trying to hit your spots lap after lap. Try not to get in anybody in front of you and see if you can start running guys down.
I noticed Dennis Block. We're really going to screw that up the whole season. He was involved in that wreck earlier, and he's off the pace right now, running an 18th. Nick Miller right now doesn't show up on my scoreboard at all either. He was supposed to be running 16th. So the last guy on the lead lap right now, we have a car smoking right on the exit of pit road, actually, I noticed. But Kyle Hanshaw is our last guy on the lead lap. I couldn't quite catch who was smoking coming on a pit road, and that's Jared Dixon again. It's his race. I mean, Richard, you could say that Jared is really struggling.
Yeah, Jared's definitely learning the ropes the hard way today, but luckily he's only dented up his car so far, so you don't piss off anybody too much if you just dent up your stuff.
You just make yourself mad. But Jared running P24 at the moment. I think that was probably it for him. He's probably going to park it. as I don't know, anybody can correct me. I think, does this series have the 6-11 rule? And
Yeah, I think.
my producer confirmed it. We do have the 6-11 rule, so Jared almost out of that. I think he is. Oh, he just considered 2 laps down right now, so he's still good to go, as he's back on track right now. But folks, if you don't know about the rules of three-ride racing, if you're 6 laps down or more at a track bigger than a mile, you get parked. Short tracks, it's 11 laps and you get parked. And I think that's a great rule that they issued last year. Mike Stevens really gets it in hard there behind the 94. That's Michael Whitley. This is a good battle. About 5 or 6 cars involved. You see Richard Hines there. Also Chad Brown.
Yeah, we talked about Richard earlier. He wasn't able to put down a lap, so I showed him starting 29th, and he's made a nice run up to 13th as he tries to pick up a couple more spots here.
Yeah, that's one guy I would like to see how he does this year in these 6 races with Richard Hines, because he ran decent. I would consider him running decent last year, but I'd like to see him get in the top 5 and contend for races, especially in this series. You see a good battle here. Richard on working that high lane. That high lane, I think it's going to work here quite a bit here tonight. You see Todd Smith, he's running it, and Richard's starting to pass people on the high lane as well.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's working for him. If he can get someone pinned down there on the bottom, so he can carry that momentum off. Some nice runs.
This is the best battle we have on the track. Mike Stevens, Richard Hines, battling it out. As Hines is going to clear Stevens. Going to work on Michael Whitley, a newcomer to three-ride racing. Michael in that 94 car. And I noticed James Duke running 10th, and I think James was all the way up to 7th at one point not too long ago. So something might have happened to him, and I do notice a little bit of right front damage. I think he caught that wall.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Trey Landry also just got loose and lost a spot to David Wilson just here a second ago. So obviously the tires starting to get warmed up, starting to get a little loose on these guys.
I think Trey's really fighting the handling in his car. He got loose earlier in the day and lost a couple spots there, and Rusty Webb working on right now for another spot.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Trey's starting to fight the car a little bit. Just a couple spots behind Trey, we got Tate Lytle. He started way back to 26, he's worked his way up to 8th, and trying to work his way into the top 5, it looks like.
Tate's got to be the biggest mover in this race. Tate, like you said, did not even make a qualifying lap, and he's worked his way up to 8th. He's going to be a guy you got to keep an eye on this year. He was fast when he raced in three-ride racing, but he took a big break and signed with JTR, which happens to be my team that I own, and Tate races for me, and so does Wade. I know Wade had a little bit of trouble earlier on.
Yeah, it looks like Wade's a couple laps down from that damage he picked up, so it must have been at least somewhat severe as he tried to get it fixed. Looks like he's scored back in 26th place, about 3 laps down.
As we got not too much action on the track, we're going to see Tate battle here for Rusty, but I think we caught up with Jared Dixon. He's in the infield care center, so we'll try to drag him down and see what happens. And there's a crash, another crash. Off of turn 2 again, it's Mike Stevens spinning out. Getting loose, I'm guessing. The Mike car's all beat up. Front side beat up. Rear end beat up.
Yeah, it looks like Mike's trying to take some of that Charlotte Motor Speedway concrete home with him.
I think he's accomplished that goal. He's going to head down to pit road. I don't know if we have a replay or not of Mike Stevens. But like I said, Jared Dixon in the infield care center. We're going to drag him down and get a word with him. Jared, you got a copy?
Yep.
Man, it was a tough 30 so laps for you. What happened in the first incident?
It's just a very loose car once you get a few laps in, and it just kept getting loose off too, and I couldn't catch it one time.
That's unfortunate. We talked about the track conditions. They seem really, really hot and slick right now. Is turn 2, that's got to be the worst spot in the track.
Turn 2's very loose, and every once in a while, turn 4 gets loose for me, as you probably saw in that last incident where I went absolutely everywhere.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna get back. I think we got a crash. We got another crash on the track, and that's Levi. Levi, the second place guy that was running hard into the wall. Richard, did you catch that?
I didn't catch what happened, but based on the fact that he's in the middle of the backstretch on the inside wall like everybody else, I can imagine what happened.
And another car getting loose off too. Jared, we're sorry. We're going to have to let you go here and catch up and try to see what happened to Levi, man. But we wish you the best of luck for the next 5 races.
Thank you.
Man, that's a tough break for Levi Zielinski. Running P2 and just got loose off a 2. And now he's got more damage than that right side.
Yeah, his car is definitely a little banged up now. It'll be tough to come back from that for sure. All you can do is try to get it up for a caution and try to get it patched up best you can, maybe try to slip back in the top 10.
And we talked about guys having consistent runs every week, top 5 runs. Levi, that has to kill him in the points because you can't have any bad races with only being a 6th race. This is basically a 6 race playoff with 30 plus guys in it. So one bad race is going to set you back, and right now Levi running P16. Hopefully we can get a caution and he can work his way back up through there. But I don't know if he can with all that damage.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him. Yeah, I almost feel like if you finish 20th once, you can run off 5 straight wins and probably still not win the championship.
That consistency will pay off, definitely. But the top 5, Todd Smith, now that Levi Zielinski spun out, it's Luis Salmas in 2nd. David Wilson up to 3rd. That's a great run for David. 4th place, Thomas Morris and Trey Landry in 5th. As we got a caution, it's another one of your front runners. It's Tate Lytle. Tate Lytle spinning out on the trioval, which is fairly odd. Tate was moving up through the field all the way up to 6th.
Yeah, it looks like turn 4 claims a victim now.
I wonder
5.
Yeah, I wonder if Tate got the wall. Let's see. We'll see the replay here. Oh, he's looked like he got a little bit loose going into 3. Man. As Rusty Webb gets into him, Tate Lytle spins through the infield. That's a tough break, man. Tough break for Tate Lytle. But really, you got to say it's just one of them. It's just racing. Rusty, I don't think meant to do any of that.
Yeah, that's just when you're fighting the car so hard to keep it from turning left on you. Sometimes you're afraid to put wheel input in, you get into somebody on the outside of you.
Rusty spins out as well. Tate Lytle spins out. I don't know if those guys got too much damage. They didn't really hit anything except themselves. So hopefully they'll get back going. As we got a lot of cars that are lap down. So I think the top 18 are still on the lead lap. Pit road's open, so maybe Tate and Rusty will get back up there.
Yeah, like you said, it doesn't look like their cars are banged up too bad. So hopefully they get them patched up here, the little bit of damage they have, and I still think they can make a decent run at it.
After this pit stop sequence is over, we're gonna do something cool here where we kind of preview the start of the season for us, 3 Wide Racing's Cup Series and Truck Series. We're gonna give you some inside sit-down interviews with, I think tonight is Mike Stevens and Matt Hackathorn. But we'll wait and see after these pit stops are over with, see who gets out in the lead. Looking like Todd Smith will beat him out. Luis Salmasa in 2nd.
Yeah, it seems like Luis's crew came to play tonight. He almost beat Todd off pit road there, and that's pretty tough to do.
Yeah, first pit stop, Luis came in 4th, went out 2nd. And this time, like you said, almost beating Todd Smith out. And I think if you can get by Todd Smith on pit road, it's gonna be hard for him to pass Luis. But right now, these restarts really helping out Todd being on the high line.
Yeah, and Luis and Todd up front. It's basically a replay of Thursday night. There's a couple new guys behind them.
We got to give a shout out to David Wilson. He's having a great run. I haven't talked about him much, but Wilson's gonna, if he keeps it up right now, he'll have a pretty good run.
And I'm not sure what happened to David there on that pit stop. Showed him all the way back in 17th now. I don't know if he got a speeding penalty or what. Didn't seem like the car was banged up or anything before we went in.
No, he came out in the top 4, so he had to have a speeding penalty. That's going to be costly as we're past halfway. So it's hard to make up ground in one of these mile-and-a-half tracks. So that's going to be pretty tough for David Wilson to make up some ground.
Yeah, the good thing for David is we talked about earlier that halfway bonus points. I believe that happened before the caution, so we'll pick up some of those.
Let's see. We have a word with Kyle Hanschel real fast before we do our sit-down interview. Kyle, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, we went clean there for a little bit, and then now we've had a couple cautions. Still fairly clean. What are you noticing out there?
It's you really got to manage your tires. I noticed my car is actually better on the long runs because I'm saving my tires and just my stuff and whatever. And the guys are getting really loose coming out of 2 and off of 4, and that's where I think that's the most troubled areas on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, right now you're running P13, I think, at the moment, or P12. P12 as we're getting ready to go green here. Kyle, good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully you'll break into that top 5, maybe top 10, top 5.
Yeah, we're gonna go for it. See what happens.
Good luck, man. Alrighty, as we're doubling up here, pace car about ready to exit off the track. We're going to get going green again. It'll be lap 48 out of 84 when we get the green flag.
Yeah, down.
Pace car
down
in.
at the end here.
Pace car in, and we're going green. Todd Smith is going to have to restart on that.
Yeah, it looks like this time Luis will be able to get down in the new one challenge to just pick up 2nd place. And then we'll see a little run here. Hopefully we can keep it caution free and Luis will have a chance to play out a whole run here against Todd.
Yeah, this is the first time we saw Luis up to 2nd now, so this is kind of like how it's playing out, how it played out on Thursday with Luis in 2nd and end up passing Todd late in the race to get the victory. Let's see if it happens here today. Although I think we're almost at lap 50, Richard, and our 2 picks are 1-2, so I think we're not doing too bad.
No, I think what we saw Thursday night, those are the 2 obvious picks for sure.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see. I think the other 2 fast guys definitely were going to be Levi and Tate Lytle, and they both have had issues. So right now, I think it's just going to be a showdown between Todd and Luis.
Yeah, and Tate just back in 11th place now, so and he's in a pretty hectic race back there between about 6th and 15th, it looks like. So it looks like he'll still have a chance to get a good run here.
And I'm noticing, I always see that orange car everywhere I go out of the corner of my eye, and I always wonder who it is, but it's James Dukes, and he's up to 4th place. So one of our other rookies, and I'm counting right now, and we have 5 rookies in the top 10, so that's good for Corey, and looking over, scouting the talents, and that's good for 3-wide racing to have these guys racing up front clean. That's the biggest thing of all.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like most of the guys who've had trouble tonight are the guys that don't have an asterisk next to their name. So obviously these guys are doing the right thing and just trying to drive the track as best they can.
A good run for James Duke. Good run for Trey Landry as you ride on board with Trey. Trying to get around James Duke for the 4th spot. Michael Whitley, haven't talked too much about Michael. He's running in P6 right now.
And that's a good run for him, starting all the way back in 19 and up to 6. Looking pretty good.
We tried talking with this man before the race, Nick Miller. As you see Tate Lytle trying to get by Nick right now. We got a good battle right here. Side by side with about 6 cars. Nick Miller making his way all the way up to 7th for Team Blurry, their debut on asphalt.
And
Tate is flying right now. He started, I think, 14th on the restart, up to 7th in only about 8 laps.
yeah, he's definitely trying to make up for the time he lost after that incident.
Trying to get around 6th spot of Michael Whitley. And Tate's been here a time or two before. He has tons of experience on ovals, on stock cars. He left 3 Wide Racing, gives the bumper, he gives a shot. Gives a shot to the 94 car. Let's see if he can get around him. He's just letting him know that he's there.
It looks like he's not trying to wreck him, just trying to rattle his cage a little bit.
He probably would have said that. Still trying to get around Whitley. And this is going to be interesting to see if Tate can come back as he gives him another shot.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that the 90 car knows about the 83 car at this point.
He wants to get around him. But now you see Nick Miller starting to catch that. So maybe the 94 just a little bit off the pace. And you see Nick Miller running the bumper of Tate Lytle.
Yeah, no. It seemed like earlier it was kind of a multi-group track. It looks like everybody's just kind of migrated to the middle, and that's the fastest way to go, at least for the first 10 laps of a run.
Seen a lot of people trying to diamond. You notice that in Thursday's practice race. People diamonding and they going high and they come down low. Seems to be getting a lot of speed off when you do that. When you do that style of driving. But we noticed a lot more multiple grooves, like you said, in Thursday's test. Mostly everybody run that high lane. It's getting like Darlington.
Yeah, it definitely seems to get that way. That diamond just helps you keep the wheels straight as you come off, because obviously these guys are fighting to keep it back into the car from getting around on them.
Well, we passed halfway quite a bit ago, about 15 laps. Todd Smith was your winner of the halfway bonus. He'll get 5 points. That'll be big for Todd, especially if he wins this race. He's going to get maximum points, 5 bonus points, and also points for winning. And there you see Tate Lytle. He'll get underneath Michael Whitley, but it's going to be hard for him to make the pass there down at the bottom. Oh, man. And there's Whitley in the wall. Tate Lytle puts Whitley in the wall. He's going to lose a bunch of spots. I'm sure Whitley does not appreciate that as Tate Lytle door slams him. He was right behind him there for a good 5 or 6 laps there.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you got some group racing like it appears we have, at least for the first part of these runs. Is you gotta drive the car in so hard on the bottom to try to clear somebody, or else you know they're just gonna drive back by you on accident.
Yeah, and these people are running the high lane for a reason. It's because you can't get a good run coming, or you can't get a good middle run in the middle of the turn on that bottom lane. You got to be up in the high lane to arc it down into turns 2 and turns 4 to get a good run off. And you saw Tate Lytle, he tried to make the pass on Whitley down the bottom. It didn't work out.
Well, it worked out okay for Tate, I guess.
Yeah, not Michael Whitley. Michael Whitley falls back to 10th. Tate Lytle, P6 right now. As Todd Smith still leading the way, and he's got about a second lead over Luis, as Luis just cannot do anything with Todd tonight.
No, and if Todd's saving anything like he talked about doing the other night, those guys are going to be in big trouble as this run goes on. I'm not sure where we're going to be on fuel mileage with about 40 to go when we came back to the green, but I don't know if these guys are going to let the pit again or not.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. 40 laps is quite a bit. I wonder, I can probably log on to this YouTube chat channel. I'm sure somebody can answer that for me.
And these cars are running 75% just like we do in the real thing, right?
And there's a caution again. We got a caution, so fuel mileage races out the window. The 23 car hard in the inside wall. That is the 23 car of Josh Personet. You see the replay. Personet gets loose, slams the inside wall like we saw all day today. And after this race is over, half these guys probably never want to see Charlotte again.
Yeah, definitely not without the lights on.
And you're seeing a lot of people, oh, that's Jordan Teal getting hit too. And that's going to end Teal's day. He got slammed, so did Personet. Did you see, that's the second time today we saw a guy get loose and overcorrect it.
And I was watching earlier in the broadcast too of guys just in the middle of the backstretch pulling down to go around someone that got in the wall in front of them, and the car just getting sideways. So this car is real light in the rear end all the way around. It seems like.
Cars down pit road, getting 4 tires and fuel as the our tanks of gas in 3-wide racing are only 50%. We only run 50% fuel, so that kind of throws a wrench into your pit strategy. Let's see who comes out with the lead. Luis's pit crew has been fast all day. Let's see if they can get around Todd. I think that's Luis's only shot right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they got it done there, but still holding on to that second spot for now.
Todd Smith beats him out. Luis second. Thomas Morris third. Tate Lytle jumps up to fourth. And this is going to play out interesting because I feel like Tate is one of the fastest guys in the track. He's going to have that outside lane, and Todd Smith's going to be on the outside lane as well. So let's see if Tate can work his way up to maybe second or third.
Yeah, this all might end up playing out pretty good for Tate. Thomas Morris back up in third. He was running up front earlier, and then it seemed like he kind of fell back a little bit. So we'll see how he can run up here with the leaders.
Let's give a rundown of your top 10. Todd Smith running first place, like we mentioned. Luis Ramos second. Thomas Morris third, and Tate Lytle fourth. Christopher Munger just broke into the top 5 with Trey Landry and the Jameson Whiskey Car in P6. Chad Brown 7th. Chad had a good run in practice on Thursday. And David Wilson's in 8th. Nick Miller, Team Blurry in 9th. And James Duke round out the top 10. So now we're going to have about a 20-lap shootout, 19-18 lap shootout here. Tires probably won't wear off until about 10 to go. 9 laps to go. So I really still think it's definitely Todd's race to lose, don't you think, Richard?
Yeah, I think he's proven that short run, long run, he's the car to beat right now. We'll see what Lewis does here with a short run where he'll just really go after it for a couple laps. And then, like you said, we got Tate creeping back and forth, and we'll see if Thomas Morris does anything for these leaders as this restart happens.
We're not going green here right now. I was trying to find if Josh Personet was in TeamSpeak to get him an interview, or anybody at Eyes and Tech. Jordan Teal's actually here. I wonder if we can grab him. I'll try to grab him. Jordan, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Hey man, that's an unfortunate break. Just riding along, minding your own business, and all of a sudden the car just comes out of nowhere and hits you. Did you see anything that happened there?
Yeah, so what happened is he got loose coming out of turn 2. And it's happened before with other cars, and they saved it. And, you know, if you don't get loose and you're behind them, you can just go ahead and pass them on the outside. But what I didn't realize is how bad he lost it. And so the car just caught on him and shot up the track and hit me. I mean, not really his fault, not really my fault, just kind of a racing deal. Probably could have backed out of it a little bit more and stayed out of it, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, nothing you can do, Jordan, but we're getting ready to go back to green. Thanks for talking with us for a little bit, and good luck the rest of the weeks. Sorry about your unfortunate situation here tonight.
All right, thanks, man.
That was Jordan Teal. As the pace car is off, we're green. It's Todd Smith in P1. Luis, actually, Todd Smith chose the bottom lane, and Luis is going to have a little bit of a run here on the top.
Yeah, that's a weird decision, this late to run and take the bottom. And Luis
I
is
do
even
not.
with him
I do
through the
not
middle
agree
there.
with that. And Luis is going to get the run. We're side by side, closing laps of the DB series. As Luis might be able to clear him, and there's Tate Lytle in third. Todd's going to fight back. They touch. Luis in the wall. Luis is in the wall. Tate Lytle coming up to first. Tate clears him. He cleared Todd. As Todd battles back on the inside. He's going to push up. He's going to do the same thing to Tate. They get sideways off of turn 2. Man, this is exciting. It's ramped up here.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen anybody in front of it all day. It's pulled it right on the tail lid of
Almost
Tate's car.
Almost gives Tate a shot as Tate Lytle spinning out through the infield and now taking the lead on lap 68. As Todd's going to battle back here on the high lane. I would not open that high lane up if I was Tate.
Yeah, I'm trying to make Todd do something uncomfortable for him. Make him run that bottom lane. He hasn't had to do it all night.
Tate runs that high lane. He diamonds it down there. As now you see Thomas Morris up to third, right behind Todd Smith, and you gotta think Todd. His emotions are pretty high right now. Up in second, just losing the lead there, and it just seemed like he got a little hard into the turn, kind of like what Tate did with Rusty Webb, and Luis was the victim there, hitting the wall. We got a caution. Another caution comes out. It's the 40 car, Trey Landry. And it's not turn 4, it's not turn 1, it's not turn 3. It's turn 2, like we've seen all day today. Trey Landry hard into the inside wall. That was an exciting 5 laps there, Richard. You'll see the replay of Trey Landry. Trey smacks the wall, smacks that outside wall, and that's a big hit. Oh, and there's a 7 car involved, and also a white car not catching the number. That's the 23, a person that he was involved. So a person that's been involved in the last 2 cautions, but he did nothing wrong there as Trey Landry just bounced off the outside wall. Went back up the track after it hit the inside wall, and there you go, there's cars pitting. Seems like everybody's pitting right now. Let's see if Todd Smith can get the lead back from Tate. Man, that was exciting.
Yeah, that was definitely good racing. Very odd decision by Todd Smith to take the inside lane there after taking the outside lane on all the previous restarts.
He got such a good run after every restart on that outside lane, and I don't understand why he took the inside lane there. I don't know if he had a teammate behind him. I don't think so. As you got, this car's taking 2 tires here, and that's David Wilson. He'll come out the lead, man, and we got cars taking 2 tires, and it's going to be exciting here. We're going back to green with about 10, 11 laps to go. And David Wilson, right now, seems like the only one to take 2 tires. Tate Lytle comes out, first car with 4 tires in second. Thomas Morris and Todd Smith falls back to 4th. Christopher Munger in 5th. So this should be interesting here, Richard, with David Wilson taking a gamble and taking 2 tires. Right now, it seems like quite a few laps. If David's really thinking about getting the win, I would have probably done this with maybe 4 or 5 laps ago, not 10 or 11.
Yeah, this is a pretty risky move for sure. as we've seen, these tires get tore up pretty bad with these cars being as loose as they are. So it'd be hard to hold on to that lead for the 10 or 11 laps. He's going to have to do it.
And I don't know if David ran in the practice race on Thursday, but Thomas Morris was in the same exact position on Thursday, took 2 tires, got loose right on the restart, spun his tires, and Luis ended up passing him for the win. Could you see this playing out again? I think those guys had about 6 or 7 laps on their tires this run, so they're going to be pretty worn out, I would imagine.
Yeah, and the big concern there is they talked about after the race spinning the tires even when you had 4 fresh tires. So it's going to be hard for him to put the horsepower down as this restart happens.
Yeah, this is just going to benefit whoever is on the lanes that David Wilson is not on. If he takes the high lane, it's going to benefit Tate. If he takes the low lane, it'll probably still benefit Tate, but it's going to benefit 4th place and on that top row.
Yeah, I think if I'm David, you have to take the high lane here. At least you don't have to drive the car down to the bottom of turn 1 on 2 tires.
And our producer Carlos just said David's streaming it, so it's going to be fun to watch him, and he saves all his videos to Twitch, so you can go back and watch these last 10 laps right along with him as we are double file getting ready to go. It's going to be an 11-lap shootout to the end to decide the first ever DD Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. David Wilson's going to take the inside here and lead Tate on the outside.
Yeah, and we got our second car on the outside there is our most of the race leader, Todd Smith. So if there is any trouble there on the bottom, it'll be tough. It'll just be those 2 cars driving by on the outside and then racing that for the win.
So let's see what happens here, folks. It gets down to whoever can pass David Wilson. It might be pretty quick there with 2 tires. Here we go, pace car coming down. And we're green. David Wilson is on it. As he gets a decent restart, Tate Lytle actually didn't get too good of a start. Let's see what happens going down in turn 1. And this is where, yeah, David lost a lot of ground off, and Tate's going to take the high lane.
It looked like Tate had to lift a little air off too. Got a bigger run than he thought he was going to have on David.
And here we go, battle for the lead. It's Tate Lytle, David Wilson. Tate's going to carry that momentum and should be able to clear Wilson by the time they get into turn 1. There's Todd Smith right behind Tate Lytle. You got to give credit to Wilson though. He's staying up there a lot better than I would have thought he would.
Yeah, he did a good job on that restart.
As they both cleared Wilson, and now it's a battle between Tate Lytle and he gets close to Tate. Todd Smith gets super close to Tate Lytle there.
It took a little page out of Tate's book right there and just let him know he was right there on his rear end.
Now we got 9 laps to go. 9 laps till we decide a winner here. Tate Lytle out front with Todd Smith in second. Thomas Morris trying to get around David Wilson. David Wilson is still in P3 right now.
And David's doing a good job of holding on as he makes a little run on entrance 3 there, back up in the front 2.
Now, I feel like for Tate, he won't lose this race if he stays on that high lane. I don't think he can pass anybody on that bottom lane there. If he just keeps that high lane up, I don't think Todd Smith's going to be able to make a run on him.
Yeah, Todd's going to have to show us something on the bottom if he wants to make a clean pass for the win here.
He gets awfully close to him coming into turn 3 out of turn 4. It might come down here to the last lap and see what Todd Smith, see how bad Todd Smith wants it.
Yeah, he definitely is pulling up right on the bumper of Tate Lytle into every turn. So if he wants to, he could probably get there.
Yeah, he drives it in hard, and now he's right on his back bumper. See what happens here. He's going to take the bottom. He tries to cross over Tate. See if it works out. Will he be able to stick? Will he clear it? not quite. As they're side by side again. As we got 6 laps to go. Tate's still, oh man, is he close. Side by side again, as there's a caution. And that's going to decide who's in the lead. As there's a wreck on the backstretch, James Duke and Skylar Nissel, that's going to decide it, and who was the leader. Man, does that stink.
Yeah, we just got hosed out of 5 laps of good racing, I think.
My scoreboard says Todd Smith was the leader at the time of the caution.
Yeah, it looks like Todd Smith's going to win this thing by about a foot.
And that is so unfortunate to these guys racing up front. I know that was my pet peeve. That's my pet peeve when I'm racing. Is guys in the back causing the wreck to ruin it for the guys in the lead. And I don't know what happened there. I just saw James Duke. I'm guessing somebody just got loose. I don't know what they were battling for, what position they were battling for. But that most likely will do it here. As Todd Smith beats Tate Lytle by just a hair, I guess.
Yeah, and anybody watching that's doing the math, we don't do 1 lap shootouts in this league, so we would have to get one to go with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, they'd have to get 2 laps to go here. And I highly doubt that even happened. Man, we were setting ourselves up for a good finish.
It did look like Todd Smith might have been able to eventually clear him. He was doing a good job down there on the bottom, but Tate Lytle was definitely not making it easy on him.
It was going to be hard to pass Tate on that bottom, like we mentioned, but Todd was definitely doing a great job of trying to clear him. I think it would have stayed like that. I'm guessing for the last four laps, it would have stayed like that, side by side.
Yeah, it was going to be a whale of a race. Good to see David Wilson able to hang on to 3rd after his little gamble. He ran pretty good all night. That'll be a good finish for him.
Yeah, David Wilson in P3, Thomas Morris 4th, Luis Salmassa P5. I think Luis probably pretty disappointed with that finish. His car was pretty strong in Thursday's practice and also today, and he got P5. He'll take it, and look at our in-race broadcaster. Where's he at? He's P6. Kyle Hanshaw. Going to get a good finish, and that's a good points day for Kyle as we're going to head to a short track, Iowa Speedway, next week.
Yeah, that's a real nice run for Kyle. I just made the trip to him, staying out of trouble and doing the right thing. Never really saw him do anything the whole race, and here he is in 6th when it ends up.
We're going to bring Kyle on right now and see what he has to say. We're under caution. Kyle, if I told you this morning that you would finish 6th in today's race, would you take it?
Yeah, definitely, I'd take it.
Did you see the wreck, or was it behind you?
I believe it was behind me.
So you worked your way all the way up to 6th there on 4 tires, right?
Yeah, I messed up a couple times on pit road, but that last pit stop is where I gained a lot of track position because I had a good pit stop. But yeah, I got past 2 cars on that last restart. I'm just being patient and buying my time, and it's paying off so far. But it'll be crazy these last couple laps.
Yeah, well, looks like we're not going to go back to green. It's going to be no 1-lap shootouts here. So looks like Todd Smith's going to get the victory. You round out 6th place. It's got to be a good points day for you. Heading into Iowa next week should be fun. But yeah, I would definitely take a P6. There's 30-something guys in this race, and like we mentioned earlier, that you can't have bad runs. You can't have DNFs or below top 15 finishes, in my opinion. So 6th place is a great run for you.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta be consistent week in and week out in this league, and yeah, I'm happy with the top 10 finish for sure.
As we get down to the closing laps, 2 laps to go right now, we're going to leave Kyle here in the booth. So Todd Smith is looking like he's going to be your winner. The inaugural Three Wide Racing Driver Developmental Series winner. Unless something really strange happens to him, he's going to be going to victory lane. And Richard, you're 1 for 1 so far.
Yeah, better lucky than good. I'd pretty much dominated the whole night. That would have been exciting to see him have to earn it there at the end, all the way and make that pass work. But hey, good run for him, good run for Tate, good run for David. That was a good race.
Yeah, those three guys have a lot of storylines in itself. David Wilson started pretty far back, worked his way up front, and took 2 tires there at the end and held those guys off. You're looking at Tate Lytle. Tate didn't even qualify, worked his way all the way up to the front, got spun out. Rusty Webb and him made contact. They spun out through the tri-oval, goes in the back again, works his way all the way back up, and has a shot at the win. You never know what could have happened with those closing laps as the caution came out. And then you got Todd Smith, and he pretty much dominated the whole race up until the end there. So that's 3 good storylines by those 3 drivers, and I can't wait to get a word with all 3 of them.
Yeah, this ought to be a pretty good little post-race interview. Did David Wilson also have a little trouble? Did he spin out at some point, or did he keep it clean the whole time?
I think David kept it clean the whole time. I know you didn't hear about him until about halfway through the race. He finally worked his way up through there, but I think he kept it clean. I don't see any damage on his car.
I'm surprised he was able to hold off those guys with 2 tires.
Oh, you saw Thomas Morris do it Thursday, and he couldn't do it. But Wilson did it tonight, and it was pretty surprising.
Yeah, I think if we would have done the whole run, maybe Thomas Morris or Luis there behind him might have eventually got around him. But yeah, that was a good run by him.
Yep, and you see the leaders crossing the finish line, and that's it. Todd Smith, your winner, Charlotte, round 1. Todd Smith gets it done under caution, unfortunately, but still, nonetheless, great run by Todd and a great victory. We'll have interviews with the top 3, maybe a couple other people if we got some time. I see it's 11:20, so we'll interview as many guys as we can. We'll start out with David Wilson, then we'll bring him on, wherever he may be. David, you got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, we were just talking about you, and I think we had storylines for each of the top 3 guys, but your main one was staying up there with 2 tires. It didn't work Thursday, and it worked for you, so congratulations on 3rd place, and how'd you manage to stay up there?
I have no idea. Honestly, I screwed up in the pits. I was at 3rd one time, and I pulled an Austin Powers move in the pits where I overshot, and then I backed up, and then I was too far to the left, and ended up coming out 17th. So I drove like crap to get back up there, and figured, why not? We weren't but a few laps in, so I didn't even want to pit, but took 2, and it worked out.
Yeah, Richard, you were right. You said that Wilson had to work his way through the back there. I forgot that he had that problem on pit road, but that was a great run by you. And we talk about only having 6 races in this series, and you can't have bad finishes. And a 3rd place run, it's great for your points day.
Oh, it's awesome for my points day. I was so excited when I was running up front because it's a bad track, and I picked on in our chat that I was using these guys as training wheels because I didn't know how to drive this track, and figured it out, and then it was heartbreaking when I went back to the back of the pack, but it worked out good. Got a lot of good points today.
Well, we go to Iowa next week. I'm pretty sure we go to Iowa. Anybody can correct me if we don't go to Iowa. But is that a good track for you?
I think so. I think I ran well there last season. Yeah, I like Iowa. I'm pretty excited about that one.
All right, David. Well, good job on this run today. P3 here tonight, and like we said, a great points day, and hopefully, maybe we'll see you in Victory Lane next week at Iowa, man.
I would love it. Not sure, but that would be great. But shout out to PPG Racing, and good win, Todd Smith.
Thanks, David. Have a good one.
Thank you, man.
And that was David Wilson. Richard, you want to bring on Tate?
Yeah, let's see if we can get Tate up here in the booth and have a little word with him about his very adventurous day around the racetrack. And Tate, Richard up here in the booth, you got a copy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. That was quite a race. Had to work your way up a couple times, and did a great job there at the end.
Bring on Tate. Yeah, I was got wrecked a couple times, but we're able to make it through it.
Yeah, how do you think those last couple of laps would have played out if you and Todd would have got to race them out?
Honestly, I think he probably would have got me. He was a little quicker. I was just trying to milk the outside, but never know.
Yeah, it seemed like you were doing the right thing there. You're going to try to make him earn it around the bottom, which it seemed like it was pretty tough to do over the second half of that race. You want to talk about your little incident you had where you got to explore the infield here at Charlotte?
Yeah, they did a good job on the grass in the infield. I spun through it, and luckily I didn't hit anything. But I gotta give it to the grounds crew. It was looking good.
Well, this is Johnny Thomas. I'm gonna put on my owner's cap here, Tate, and that was a great run by you, working your way up through there twice, and only 84 laps. This is a quick race, so great job, man. P2, it's got to be a confidence booster heading into the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully the mile and a halves play out good, and I don't do too bad at Richmond.
Was the trial as good as the greens?
Not quite. Close.
All right, Tate. Good run, man. We'll catch you up.
Bye.
Tate didn't seem too happy there. But who would be happy finishing second?
Yeah, especially when you finish second in something you can't control by a foot or two, like he had to.
He had about 3 incidences where he couldn't control it at all, and especially the last one being trying to break it down and trying to get a win. So now we'll bring in Todd Smith, our winner. Richard, you want to do the interview since you picked him to win?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's Todd Smith in victory lane.
Down.
Todd, you got a copy?
Hey.
Hey, that was a great piece of driving there. You had to work for it a little bit more at the end than it seemed like you had to all day, but you pretty much dominated this race. How'd it look for you?
Yeah, I had to definitely work there toward the end. Kind of got behind the 8 ball, but felt good all day. It drove the same all day. Just got unlucky restart there toward the end, and that's what I was worried about. The one that got out front, it seemed like they could kind of stay, consistent. And then Luis got that good jump on the outside of me, and I was like, oh goodness. And I run him up the hill just a little, had to get out, lost the lead, and just like you said, had to work my tail off to get back up there, especially since that last restart. It was fun though. It was real fun.
Yeah, take us back to that second to last restart, which was only about 15 laps to go, I think. You chose the inside lane, which it seemed like you'd chosen the outside lane. Take us through your thought process there.
I was just hoping to bring the guy behind me with me and kind of hold him up there. Maybe he didn't get a run off too, and they would kind of battle more than because he had been lagging back on the inside lane. I would kind of lag back with him, but it just seemed like everybody backed off and the pace car would take off, and I'd pull back up to the pace car. So I just tried something different. It didn't really work, but yeah, I was just, like I say, trying to pull the guy behind me up with me, maybe kind of hold him off a little bit instead of him just being clear and being able to run me back down.
Yeah, it seemed like it's got a nice restart there against you and made it a little tougher
Yeah.
than you probably thought it would be. And how hard was it to try to make that pass on the inside on a car that was comparably fast to yours?
It was really hard. I mean, like I say, that time I tried it on the inside of Luis and pushed up a little. I don't think there was contact. I don't remember, but I lifted, and like I said, the guy got inside of me. And then driving as hard as I did there at the end to pass on the inside, which I think we were side by side. I'm pretty sure when the caution came out, it was going to be tough, tough sledding to get by him. But it worked out. I mean, I was just pedaling hard as I could and keeping it on the bottom, and it worked out. It worked out for me.
Yeah, you definitely put on a nice expose of driving tonight.
Thank you.
And you got anything for him, Johnny?
No, Todd, that was awesome piece of driving by you. I said you probably wouldn't be able to get around Tate going on the bottom there, and it ended up working out. I wish it would have went green there at the end, but you probably don't. You probably like sitting in victory lane.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but great run and starting off with a win. That's great for the rest of the 5 races.
Oh yeah, I mean it's what I came here to do. I love coming to Charlotte. It's like I said, it's my second favorite track. Thomas Mars, he's kind of affiliate. He did real good. Christopher Munger did pretty good. Chad Brown, my buddy, he's a good teammate. They all had good runs. Had a couple other guys in there, Whitley and Duke. They had some crazy luck, but still, we all ran pretty good as a whole. So it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
All right, Todd. Well, we look to see you back here, maybe in victory lane next week at Iowa. But man, congratulations on the first ever DD series race, and you're the winner. So good job, man.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thanks.
Well, that was Todd Smith, the winner, and I tell you what, that was a pretty clean race, don't you think?
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was a well-run race by everybody. You know, a couple times the track got people, but it seemed like everybody raced with a lot of respect.
And here's the results for the first ever 3-wide racing driver developmental series. It's Todd Smith, P1, Tate Lytle second, David Wilson third, Thomas Morris P4. We'll try to catch up with Thomas here in a little bit. Luis Salmosa fifth, Kyle Hanshaw, our in-race reporter, broadcaster, the man of all trades, P6, Christopher Munger 7th, Chad Brown 8th, Rusty Webb finishing 9th, and Richard Hines 10th. There's Nick Miller, P11, Michael Whitley 12th. Brandon Laurel and 13th, Cody Tabor 14th, Mike Stevens 15th. Then you got Gary Weaver, P16, Nathan Young 17th, James Duke 18th, Dennis Block, I don't know, Skylar Nissel 20th. There's Wade Lear coming home 21st. And the last car in the lead lap, Chad Frankenfield 22nd. Trey Landry, Josh Personet, Jordan Teal, Levi Zielinski. Levi had a strong run going, and he had some misfortune happen to him. Frank Sims the 4th. And you got Jared Dixon, Patrick McCusker, and Chris Thomas Dukes never ran a lap. And that's your results for today. We'll try to bring up Thomas Morris if he's still here, get a word with him.
From all-star broadcaster to top 5 runner.
Actually, Thomas isn't even in there. He must have left. Who's 5th? Luis? We'll bring in Luis. I'm sure he's got something to say, unless all those guys left too. And unfortunately, Luis left as well. Well, we got to interview somebody else. Let's do Christopher Munger. We haven't yet to hear from him. He got P7. We'll get him. Carlos, put Christopher Munger on. Christopher, you got copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, we haven't talked to you yet. Thanks for joining the league. We're trying to get people here that ran pretty good tonight, and you ended up P7. How was your run, man?
It was decent. I missed my pit stall the first stop, ended up back in 20 seconds, so it was kind of a uphill battle from there, but just kind of tried to save my tires and work my way up. But overall, it wasn't bad. It was fun racing up there at the end. Well, the whole race was fun, but it was fun racing up there at the end, too.
Yeah, we noticed you pretty much were consistently in the top 10. I know you mentioned you had a little bit of an issue, but P7, first race in 3 wide, in a big field, over 30 cars, and 7th place points is pretty important going into the next 5 races. How does this set you up for the next 5?
It's decent. It's a decent finish. I mean, there's some tracks coming up that I struggle at, and there's a couple that I'm good at. I mean, Charlotte's my favorite track, so I guess P7's okay. But that was a hell of a race, though. I mean, there was only, I don't know how many cautions there were, but it seemed like a lot of green flag running. So it was fun, and congratulations to Todd for getting the win. Pretty impressive.
We're sorry for not knowing. What team? What team are you on?
Pinnacle Racing with Morris and Trey and Cat D or Chris Thomas Dukes.
Yeah, and you guys had a pretty good run there. Everybody except Trey, had unfortunate issues late in the race, but Thomas Morris ended up fourth. You got seventh, so Pinnacle Racing with a pretty good run.
Yeah, I feel bad. Trey had a hell of a run and just kind of had a little bit of bad luck there at the end. So yeah, it was a good run for all of us. Just proud to be running for Pinnacle Racing.
All right, Christopher. Well, we hope to see you back at Iowa, and good run today, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
We got some other guys here. We still got plenty of time. It's 11:30. We'll interview a couple more guys. Who else? Who else should we interview here, Richard? We got Cody Tabor waiting in the lobby. Should we drag him down?
Yeah, why don't we get Cody up here? We'll have a couple words with him about his run, finishing P14.
All right, here's Richard Lafferty with Cody Tabor.
Cody's Richard up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Richard.
Well, tell us about your race. You finished mid-pack. That was a lot of action there. How'd your race go?
It was pretty fun. Beginning, I was trying to get used to racing with these guys again. It's been a while since I raced with a lot of the guys in 3 wide, and just get used to the car because the car's changed a lot since then too. So we kind of took it easy at the beginning, worked our way up to the front. I think we seen like 10th, and we kind of fell back there at the end when the caution come out. But I'll take 14th. That setup, it was okay for a short run, but long run I didn't like it. I'm not a fan of long run setups. But other than that, I'll take a 14th and move on to Iowa next week.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody out there was dealing with the car being pretty squirrely, pretty light in the rear end, pretty much all the way around. And I guess that doesn't really suit your driving style.
Nah, I mean, the first 20 laps of a run, if we had a caution or something, I liked it, but after lap 20, and so it started falling off, and it just got awful towards the end.
Yeah, it seemed like over the course of the run, I mean, even in the middle of the backstretch, guys were having a hard time keeping the car underneath them.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue tonight. I've seen, just not me, but others too, like you were saying there.
Yeah, so not a bad start to your season here. How do you feel about your outlook looking over the next 5 races?
Looking for the next 5 races, I mean, Iowa's a pretty good track to us there. We ran well 2 seasons ago there in 3 wide, so I'm looking forward to going back there. I haven't raced the Xfinity car there. Gosh, it's probably been 2 years since then, but I'm looking forward to that one. Just got to stay consistent with these big fields. I mean, you can't afford to have a bad race. You just got to be consistent for the next 5 weeks going into Talladega being the final race. So.
Yeah, and looking into this season, once the regular season starts, what are your plans for the regular season through life?
I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. Right now I'm out of work, so I'm running this just to have something to do on the weekends. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm wanting to run maybe the Cup Series next season. So I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Well, not a bad way to start the year. I guess we'll see you next week at Iowa. Good luck with the rest of your year.
All right, good job on the broadcast, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, we got Gary Weaver in the commercial break room, and Gary ended up. Where did Gary end up? P16. So we'll bring on Gary here. Right now his mic's muted. Okay, I'll bring him up. I'll talk to Gary. I also think Trey Landry said he was available, so we might be able to get him. Actually, we'll bring up Trey as well to get his word on what happened there on that second last caution that involved him. But now we got Gary Weaver. Gary, pretty exciting day all around, and it seemed like from 5th all the way back to the end of the pack. How was your day?
For me, compared to at least the Thursday race, it was a lot better. I actually finished on the lead lap this time, and which is saying something because at one point I was about 2 laps down, and that's mainly just because I got loose in the middle of turn 4 and just decided to save it, and I went to pit road, sped, and decided to serve the penalty. So I had that happen, and then there was a lot of wrecks on the back straightaway. I noticed that today. That was really interesting. But overall, finishing 16th out of about 30 or so people, I'd say that was pretty good.
Yeah, P2 is what people call what a calamity corner. So, did you have any issues off of turn two?
Actually, yeah, that was when the 60 spun out. He got loose out of turn two, and I was right there at that moment, and he just lost it right into me. And somehow I stayed straight, but unfortunately, the 60 didn't, Jared. So, but other than that, I did get loose a few times, and there was one point where I just had to just pull it down the pit road after about that halfway point in the race because I just had to take tires.
Well, Gary, you got 5 races left. This is just the start of the season. You finished mid-pack, P16. What are you looking forward to most about the next 5 races?
Nah, for just looking forward to the next 5, I'd say probably just doing the best that I can do, and 16th being one of them. And luckily, well, actually, unfortunately, Iowa, I believe, has a little bit of a problem with about turn 3 or 4, definitely turn 2. So it's probably going to be a smaller version of what happened at Charlotte, but probably a lot more often. But Talladega is that last race. That is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to all 5 races, but the last race, a little bit more. It's just going to be nuts at Talladega. Being the last race, being for the championship, it's going to be crazy. But Gary, wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we'll see you back at Iowa.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Gary Weaver finishing P16. Are we going to do any more interviews, or we're going to bring Trey on? So yeah, we can bring Trey on.
Military guy?
Trey, you got us.
Yes, sir.
Man, you had a good run there going for the whole race. You're in the top 5, but that second to last caution happened to be you. Turn 2 was definitely the worst part on the track. Did it just bite you?
Well, it wasn't turn. Well, turn 2 was the end result. It actually started going into turn 1, racing with I think it was Munger in the 55, and just I missed my mark going into turn 1, and I drove it down in there, and instead of doing the smart race car driver thing and just taking my lumps and trying to recover the next lap, I pushed it, and unfortunately I got on the gas a little too hard, and I didn't even think I hit the wall that hard, but it was just hard enough to shoot me to the left. And I mean, it was, next thing you know, I'm dead. And I took out a lot of good cars in that incident, and it was all my fault, and I take responsibility for it. And I apologize to those guys, and but it is what it is. That's why it's the Development Driver Series, right?
That's why they call it that.
But yeah, it was fun. Just some good racing with James Duke and Chris Munger and David Wilson. Man, that guy, he's an excellent racer. He was all over my back bumper for quite a number of laps. And I mean, it was just good, clean, hard racing. And I don't know if you guys noticed in the broadcast, but it was kind of cool that you could actually switch lines. And there at the end of the race, it seemed like that the middle to high groove was the kind of the preferred line.
Yeah, we saw that on Thursday. The grooves were starting to work up. The high lane, like you said, seemed to be the best line, but you can make a pass on the middle lane. Some people, Todd Smith held his own on the bottom there fighting with Tate, but like you said, there was battles throughout the race with different guys, and we had some guys work their way back up to the front, back to the back again, and then back up through it. So it was an exciting first race, and I know it was an unfortunate ending for you, but it had to have been fun racing out there.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's it's a lot of respect. I mean, even in my rear view and even watching the guys up front, I mean, it was good, close, hard racing, and a lot of give and take out there. And it's just unfortunate that I ended up wadding it up and I think finishing 23rd. That I'm kind of in the hole for that free charter.
I know that's what we were saying. This is like a 6-race playoffs with 30 guys, and it's tough to to get points or gain points when you have a bad finish. I know you wanted to win this championship, but it's got to be an uphill climb these next 5 races.
Yeah, just gotta, hey, put my big boy pants on and go get it done, I guess.
That's right, Trey. Well, I'm sure we'll talk to you at Iowa next week. Hopefully, you have a little bit better finish. Maybe wind up in victory lane and get a whole bunch of points next week. But good run for most of the day today, and we'll see you back.
All right, thanks, Johnny. You guys are doing a great job too on this broadcast, man.
We're trying our best. We're trying to be pretend broadcasters.
You guys got it going on.
You guys are the professionals, though.
I don't know about that, but thanks, man, and hey, looking forward to it. Hey, 30-something guys tonight, man. That's impressive. So looking forward to it. Just imagine 30 cars in Iowa next week. You guys are going to have your hands full.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about. Thanks, Trey.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. I think that's it with the interviews, but I think we saw a pretty good race today. Not a whole lot of cautions, not a lot of big crashes or like dumb mistakes. I didn't see any like really stupid mistakes by these guys. So 30 guys racing, they all raced pretty clean, and I know Corey and all the owners, they got to be happy with this.
Yeah, just a lot of good racing today. Everybody being smart. I mean, that was a pretty good race for a developmental series where we didn't know half the drivers before Thursday and a lot of even drivers before tonight. So just good quality racing, and hope everybody was entertained.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race. I wish we could have finished it out under green. But other than that, it was awesome. Kyle, you got anything to share with us?
No, that's about it, guys. It was a good race. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, as it hits 11:43 on the East Coast, I think we're going to sign off here, and we'll be back at Iowa Speedway next Sunday. Actually, unfortunately, Richard will not be with us next Sunday, but I'll find somebody in the booth to replace Richard. He won't be as good as Richard, obviously, but we'll find somebody. And thanks for watching, and if you didn't watch it yet, please watch on YouTube on the 3 Wide Racing channel.
Thanks everybody who watched. Everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next Sunday.